And do you dream? Do you think that I was then dead to the agony and remorse? He did not die in consummation. Oh, no. Not in the 10,000th portion of the anguish that was mine during the lingering detail of its execution. A frightful selfishness hurried me on, while my heart was poisoned with remorse. Think you that the groans of Clerval were music to my ears?
My heart was fashioned to be susceptible of love and sympathy, and when wrenched by misery to vice and hatred, it did not endure the violence of the change without torture such as you cannot even imagine. After the murder of Clerval, I returned to Switzerland, heartbroken and overcome. I pitied Frankenstein. My pity amounted to horror. I abhorred myself. But when I discovered that he, the author at once of my existence and of its unspeakable torments, dared to hope for happiness, that while he accumulated wretchedness and despair upon me, he sought his own enjoyment in feelings and passions from the indulgence of which I was forever bared, then impotent envy and bitter indignation filled me with an insatiable thirst for vengeance. I recollected my threat and resolved that it should be accomplished. I knew that I was preparing for myself a deadly torture, but I was the slave, not the master, of an impulse which I detested yet could not disobey. Yet when she died, nay, then I was not miserable. I had cast off all feeling, subdued all anguish, to write in the excess of my despair. Evil thenceforth became my good. Urged thus far, I had no choice but to adapt my nature to an element which I had willingly chosen. The completion of my demoniacal desire became an insatiable passion. And now it is ended. There is my last victim.
It is well that you come here to whine over the desolation that you have made. You throw a torch into a pile of buildings, and when they are consumed, you sit among the ruins and lament the fail. Hypocritical fiend!
It is not pity that you feel. You lament only because the victim of your malignity is withdrawn.
You, who call Frankenstein your friend, seem to have a knowledge of my crimes and his misfortunes. But in the detail which he gave you of them, he could not sum up the hours and months of misery which I endured, wasting in impotent passions. For while I destroyed his hopes, I did not satisfy my own desires. They were forever ardent and craving. Still, I desired love and fellowship, and I was still spurned. Was there no injustice in this? Am I to be thought the only criminal, when all humankind sinned against me? Why do you not hate Felix, who drove his friend from his door with contumely? Why do you not execrate the rustic, who thought to destroy the savior of his child? Nay, these are virtuous and immaculate beings. I, the miserable and the abandoned, am an abortion, to be spurned at and kicked and trampled on. Even now my blood boils at the recollection of this injustice. But it is true that I am a wretch. I have murdered the lovely and the helpless. I have strangled the innocent as they slept and grasped to death his throat, who never injured me or any other living thing.
Fear not that I should be the instrument of future mischief. My work is nearly complete. I will leave this vessel and seek the northern extremities of this globe. I shall collect my funeral pile and consume to ashes this miserable frame. I shall die. I shall no longer feel this pain and agony. He who created me is dead, and soon both of us will be forgotten. I will no longer see the light, the sun, or the stars. And in this I must find happiness. Years ago I wept to die, and now it is my only consolation. My only rest now is in death. So farewell, I leave you. Farewell, Frankenstein. If you were still alive, your desire of revenge would be better than my destruction. As blasted as you were, my agony was still superior for yours. For the bitter sting of remorse will not cease to rankle in my wounds until death shall close them forever. But soon I shall die, and what I feel will be no more. Soon these burning miseries will be extinct. I shall ascend my funeral pile triumphantly and exult in the agony of the torturing flames. The light of that conflagration will fade away. My ashes will be swept into the seas by the winds. My spirit will sleep in peace. And if it thinks, it will not surely think thus. Farewell.